Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Sagittarius in February 2020. Hello, Sagittarius. How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, Sag. January. It's over. It's done with. How do you feel about it? How was the start of your 2020? Hopefully it was good. I had a pretty dang good start to my 2020, my new year, and so I'm hoping you have had something just as good, if not better, for yourselves. Okay. Happy Valentine's Day for those who are celebrating here in February. If you are feeling grumpy about that holiday in quotation marks or day of love and you're just like not about it, I still wish you a happy Valentine's Day. As an adult person on some kind of spiritual journey that's still being defined, still being worked on for myself, I want to expand my understanding of love and how I express it, or how I invoke that energy in my life. So beyond romantic love, obviously towards you guys and all that you're dealing with, I hope you still are able to enjoy the day and experience some sense of love, affection, connection with other people, even if you're solo, even if you're single, even if you hate the idea of Valentine's Day and it makes you want to vomit. I still hope you have an amazing day. All right, let's get into it. Sagittarius, I have shuffled off camera. That's your main spread there. I'm going to shuffle on camera now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all of the cards are out and they're lying face up on the table, that's when the reading begins. You can check in the description box below for the timestamp if you want to jump ahead. Also down there is the information you will need if you want to purchase a personal reading with me. You simply ask me a question. You pay me via the PayPal link below. I give you the video. It's private here on YouTube. You can view it as many times as you want. You can have it from now until the end of time, or until YouTube says, hey, we're getting rid of this, and that would be out of my control. But it's absolutely there for your viewing and reviewing pleasure. But if you do have any questions before you place an order, if you want to clarify something, you can email me at the same address and I will answer you as soon as I can. And remember, guys, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All of that stuff increases views around here. It shows your support to the channel if you don't purchase a reading or donate to the channel. If you don't have the means or you don't care to do either of those things, then a simple like, a comment, and sharing and subscribing, all of that shows your support, okay? All right, guys, let's get into it. Please show me Sagittarius' outcome for February 2020. Sagittarius' outcome for February 2020, please show me. Okay, that flipped in my hand. That was pretty magical. And it's kind of a magical card as well. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. I'm not going to jinx it this time. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to get into it. All right, Sag, let's go ahead and flip what came face down for you. Okay, and let's see what is happening. Let's see where you are. And let's get things straight first. There we go. Looks pretty good here. There we go. There you go. Now it looks good. All right, Sag, let's see what's going on. Please show me where Sagittarius is in February 2020. Sagittarius in February 2020, please show me. Okay, yeah. Thank you. All right, Sagittarius, coming in to February 2020, you come in with the Four of Wands. Hey, friends. Hey. So some concerns about your home and your hearth? Home and hearth, right? Isn't that, or, yeah, I think that's the phrase, home and hearth. But basically, where your strong foundations are, where you call home or where you feel at home, the places, the people, the things that surround you that constitute that, what makes you feel secure, what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel, in some cases, yes, what makes you feel abundant, but what is sort of like the source or the reason why you get up every day, or why you have a smile on your face when you show up to work or when you come home from work, or whatever the situation is. The Four of Wands typically does speak specifically about a home, But because it's a general, and because I just can feel it in your energy, Sag, it's not always about where you live or whom you live with. It's this idea of what is making you feel as if there is solid ground underneath your feet. It can be your job, it can be your home life, it can be relationships both inside and outside of a home. It's going to run the gamut. But centrally to your focus, Sagittarius, is what is my foundation and how do I continue to build upon it? Or how do I, for the first time in my life, actually go about constructing it, right? Because you see these two women, they're putting in some work and effort to, what are they? I forget what this thing is called. But they're working together in tandem to make something happen, or to create this, God, what is this thing called? I forget. Anyway, they're constructing it. They're putting it together. They're working with each other as teammates, as friends, as colleagues, as lovers, as sisters, whatever it is. Take your pick. And this Four of Wands, particularly for me, Sagittarius, is focused on some type of working relationship with another person, whether that be actually inside a workplace in your career sector, whether that be with someone that you live with in terms of roommates or husbands and wives, boyfriend, girlfriends, family situations, it doesn't matter. But this particular, in the Four of Wands, there is normally two people, but this is very striking to me that it's really about a particular partnership for you, Sagittarius, and maintaining it or discovering it. Thank you, discovering it, really? Okay. Some of you might be seeking this. Okay, there we go. Some of you might have an idea for a business or have an idea for a creative endeavor, or there's some side project that you want to work on or put your effort into, but you want someone to work alongside you. Either you have a specific person in mind, or you know that what you want to accomplish is more than what you can handle for yourselves. So you're seeking someone of a similar vein, cut from the same cloth, who has the same goal as you. Thank you. That's what we're talking about when we have this Four of Wands. What is the goal here? How do I achieve it? And who's alongside me as I move towards this goal? What are our similar shared perspectives here? And are we going to agree, or how can we agree, or how can we come to an agreement? Thank you. And move in a certain direction. That's what this is. You either know the person that you're seeking partnership with, or you want to get to know them, or you haven't met them yet. And like I said, you're finding ways. Sure, you're finding ways is how they're saying it. You're finding ways to discover this person. So maybe there's like a particular like let's say you want to create something, or you're putting on a show, let's say, or some type of exhibition or something like that, and you need someone who's like a wood carver, like a live. Oh my God, I just realized doing all of this is like making the focus go crazy. I apologize, but let's say you were doing something and you wanted like live wood carving, and you live in like New York City. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure like that's kind of hard to find in the middle of Manhattan, or out in well, maybe now because of the hipster influx in places like Brooklyn. But let's say you were in the middle of Manhattan and you just needed someone to come to an event and like display wood carving. That is something that isn't like readily found within a huge metropolitan area, right? So you kind of have to find, quote unquote, discover this person that you want to work with by either looking for them in ways you wouldn't expect, or you might connect with someone in a way that you wouldn't expect. Like maybe you didn't even think you wanted someone. you might not have thought of whatever event you're putting on. Like they're showing me like a gallery, and they're showing me like certain exhibitions, and it's just like you're like, there's something missing here. I want something like really cool and like unexpected and kind of offbeat, and it would be like the perfect fit. And maybe you just so happen to meet someone who knows another person who is a wood carver. Like they come in with like a huge log of wood, and like they create this very detailed piece live on the spot. You didn't think you needed that at whatever you're planning or whatever you're creating with the Four of Wands, but that's the thing that you wanted or needed, and it's like unsuspecting to you in some of your cases. In other cases, you know exactly who you want to connect with, and from all sides, all Sagittariuses are very focused on either a particular partnership or the aspect of building something together in partnership. Okay. Wow, that's a change from a lot of what 2019 was about. I know that, because I feel as though Sagittarius hasn't always had this determined outlook. I feel you've been kind of, at least from what I can recall energetically, it feels like you were kind of melancholy throughout most of last year, and this doesn't feel melancholy. This definitely feels more, standard Sagittarius, ready, willing, and able to chase after the possibilities and the wonderment of life. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. So what else is happening here? Pardon me. Yes. So this has been a delay. I'm going to say that. It feels as though this has been a delayed point in your life. Where you are now, you were delayed in getting here for whatever reason. But that delay kind of serves you or served its purpose. Okay, so the delay I'm talking about is underneath you, underneath your starting position with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. It's not much difference when you look at it in the upright, but I'll show it to you anyway. And the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune in general, as a major arcana, is associated with you, isn't it? Yes. It took me a minute. This is your secondary card, Sagittarius, secondary card of Sagittarius in the tarot. Also associated with the fixed signs, so Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. You could be dealing with any of those signs or none at all. It really doesn't matter. The point more so is about it being in reverse, and again, talking about this delay. When we talk about the Wheel of Fortune, we're talking about chapter endings. We're talking about, maybe not lessons, but certain significant points in your life. Closing up or offering transitionary periods, sort of, we talk about with the Wheel of Fortune sometimes. And again, with this in reverse, I don't think it's negating anything. I don't think it's saying no, you haven't successfully completed something, or you haven't, you're not able to move forward. It's just a slower progress. It's a slower build up to and execution of a particular event or a particular phase in your life. And, I feel a lot of growth here. Thank you. That's also a part of what the Wheel of Fortune signals to us, is growth, expansion. What we, in a less, by the book way, what have we learned, right? Because it's not about lessons. That's more the World card. That's more in the realm of Saturn. But I do feel some of you have learned some lessons along the way during this long sort of drip energy that has turned. Maybe that's it. The Wheel of Fortune always turns, right? And you'll hear some readers say this. It's always turning. And anything that turns in a circle, right? You have this up trajectory where you're ascending, and then you have a descending trajectory, the descend, right? And that descend will eventually, as a clock would or as a wheel would, eventually turn and become an ascension point. And you continue to move up to the peak, and then you begin to go down towards the valley, right? So that's what I think 2019 was for many of you. It was a long descent, a very long, slow move towards descension, towards the valley. And now you're beginning to come up out of the valley and head towards ascension again. I think that's why this is in reverse. To put it another way, it's like, it's like coming down, like, like I was about to say an elevator. No, a roller coaster. You go up, tick, 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 and then you go down. And the thrill of it being, or the aspect of that, the roller coaster and how it's a thrill ride is because you go down so fast and it's so crazy and insane, right? And you go through all the twists and turns and loops and all that stuff. But this is like going tick, 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 and then you go tick, 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 tick. It's the slowest descent. 2019 may have been, maybe even into 18, they're saying. But whatever you were going through, whatever the descent period was for you, Sagittarius, it was slow. And it was slow on purpose. Now, okay. I don't know. I'm not an astrologer. You'd have to consult an astrologer to put money behind what I'm about to say. But it feels as though the fire signs in general, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, have all had various lessons or things to learn or appreciate or understand and confront when it comes to patience. I don't know where this is coming from, but they're just like patience, learn patience. So some of you have had to learn patience. Some of you have had to learn what it means to deal with it or be presented with it or confronted with it in some type of way. And I say that particularly of the fire signs because fire, if you're unfamiliar with tarot or aspects of astrology and all of this stuff here, fire is fast, it's dynamic, it's very masculine, and it's very goal oriented. It's very much, this is what I want, and you go for what you want. Very tenacious, very ambitious, yeah? And maybe that is your regular mode, Sagittarius. I would imagine many of you, that is regularly how you operate. I'm tenacious, I'm ambitious, I have goals, I have dreams, I'm out here to do work. I'm not out here to sit on my ass. And part of 2018 and a good part of 2019, the universe, major arcana, right? And it's most major arcanas have oversight from the universe. That's why I say that. But the universe basically was like, slow down. They put reins on you, all the fire signs, truly put reins on the fire signs and said, slow down, ease up, be patient, don't run, walk, don't run. Tell that to a Sagittarius, tell that to a Leo, tell that to an Aries, and fire signs want to look at you like you've lost your mind. What do you mean, slow down? What do you mean, walk, don't run? Why would I do that? It makes no sense. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I want to do. I know exactly where I want to be. I know exactly what I want to get out of this situation, and I should go for it head on. This Wheel of Fortune, this energy is coming through as Sagittarius. You have grown, you have learned lessons, you have been put to task by the aspect of patience, by the aspect or the presentation of a slow descend, a slow ride on the down slope, right? It's like you have hated it the entire time, you have suffered from it in some way the entire time, and something good exists because of that. I don't know what it is, but it's there. They're like, something good exists. Maybe you have met people or you've had certain experiences that even if you were, dissatisfied with them, you had to, for some reason, go through that, because the ultimate source, well, maybe not the ultimate source, but the bottom line, the undercurrent, thank you, the undercurrent of the Wheel of Fortune, of aspects of Jupiter, of your own energy, Sagittarius, is that everything is always working out in my favor, or it will eventually work out. It's not to say that Sagittarius is the only or the most lucky sign or the most auspicious sign in the zodiac. No, but there's this concept of being able to better appreciate, or you're in a better position to begin to appreciate the bad things in relation to the good. Without the bad things, I wouldn't know how good a good thing was. Does that make sense? If I did, like if you were, like if you just think of it like a kid or like anybody who tastes a piece of food or a fruit or anything like that and they hate it, but then they go and they eat a piece of fruit that they love, it makes the appreciation for the good tasting fruit that much more, because I went through or I had a taste of that awful tasting food over there. Now I know for sure, oh, that's boo-boo. I don't want that. That tastes like garbage, and I want more of the good thing. So some of you, okay, thank you. Some of you have really been involved in situations that were essentially, quote unquote, the bad thing. Relationships, work, commitments, obligations. Why is there like something in my eye right now? Jesus. And you just had to, I don't want to say you had to, but this is what it feels like. It's like you had to go through the off season or like the less desirable aspects of a situation or experiences in a situation in order to come out and be willing and able, wedding. Okay, I slipped up and said wedding there almost. But you'll have to come out on the other side being willing and able to embrace the better, to embrace the new partnerships and circumstances that you want, or that will truly help you build something strong with a foundation. There's something there like that. So having sort of a similar reading, but in a different way to what I said for Scorpio a few hours ago, where Scorpio was doing something similar to this, but theirs was more, well, theirs was definitely more spiritual. I feel that yours is more has a lot more practicality to it, or at least the ability for you to apply practicality to it, or Sagittarius. Anything else with this? Cycles, yes. Some of you, this is like a repeating cycle, but this is the last time you'll repeat this cycle. So that's good. You finally got it. And so that could also be it. You could be noticing a pattern in your life, and here in 2020, you're deciding to break these patterns. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to be involved in these situations, or I'm not going to be surrounding myself with these people anymore, because over and over and over again, it was proven that it wasn't working, it wasn't feasible, it wasn't fruitful. And now going forward, I want to change all of that, and I don't want to repeat myself. So for some of you, this is an issue of the reason it was a slow change of fortune for you is because you willingly kept recommitting yourself or reinvesting in bad behaviors, bad people, bad circumstances, okay? And yeah, man. So what happened was you were not able to make the right moves. Yes, this is past, this is future. Is that right? Correct. Thank you. Wow. Go ahead, Sag. So in the past, what you were not able to do was to make certain decisions or certain practical moves, right? Two of Pentacles in reverse. That is a point of being stuck, or having inaction, or having any action that you take not actually become fruitful. It wasn't beneficial in some type of way. In terms of Pentacles, it could be issues of money or finances, or something to do with your value system, or the things that you value, whether it be your time, your energy, your effort, what have you. Two of Pentacles in reverse. I mean, again, to show you upright, there's this woman riding on one of those like old-fashioned bikes, and she's like trying her damnedest to make waves or to make moves, but you know, it just wasn't working. And it's like overcast, like look how dark and cloudy it is in the sky. So Sag, previous to this point, again, the majority of 2019, maybe even for some of you, the 2018, and maybe up until this very moment, you were making the wrong moves, or you were involved with the wrong people, or in some cases you were unlucky. You know, you did try your best, but the universe said, no, nope, that's not correct. Or, you know, appreciate your offer, appreciate your your effort here, and your good wishes and your goodwill and all your good intentions, Sagittarius, but this is not the time for you to do that, or this is not the right, there we go. Okay, here we go. Let's say you wanted to plant, and I'm not a horticultural type person. I'm not good with plants. I got the one plant, and you know, it's still alive after all these years, so I'm doing something right by one. But in general, I'm not good at it. But let's say you wanted to plant a seed, or plant flowers, or anything like that. You could have a wonderful batch of seeds, right? But if you plant it in the incorrect soil, or you plant it where certain infestations are more prevalent, or you plant the seed in a patch of soil that is prevalent to weeds and all this other kind of stuff, that's not good. If you plant the seed but then don't water it, or you don't tend to it, you don't weed away when it needs weeding away, it's not going to flourish the way that you want it to. So there is this idea of either your intentions were good, but the place where you put your investment was bad, or your investment was good, but then you didn't tend to it, you didn't take care of it, you didn't put in the aftercare and the continual effort, it was not going to get off the ground, period. Again, I'm talking about something from the past here. Again, the bulk of 2019, possibly for some of you even 2018, and up until this very moment, some of you still could be doing this. You're all in different timelines. Some of you are ahead of the game, some of you are in the caboose, bringing up the rear, okay? So Two of Pentacles in reverse shows an inability to get something started, an inability to see something turn around or create tracks, like move along, like go from step 1 to step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Maybe you get to step 1, cool. Step 2, you go for step 3, and then you're shot back to step 2. You go for step 3, you get it halfway, and then you're shot back down. You get to step 3, and then you stay there for a while, and you know, okay, I've got like 3 or 4 more steps to go, and you're never able to fully progress the way you want. Again, in the past. Now, what else happened in the past? You got into the Hanged Man, or someone around you. This is a general, by the way. I'm saying Sagittarius only because I feel most comfortable saying that. I don't feel much energy from other people that's important, but if you are a cross watcher, this could be your story and you're dealing with a Sagittarius on the other side but I'm really feeling like this is mostly for all Sagittariuses that are going to watch this. Now, so the Hangman, secondary major for Pisces. Some of you could be dealing with a Pisces, but you know, you don't have to be. It is a general. So you get into the space of needing a new perspective, or the universe, again, being that this is a major arcana, has forced you or influenced you or made the situation and circumstances so that you had no choice but to be in a state of suspension. Ooh, some of you were actually suspended from work, from school, either because of medical issues, either because of certain behaviors or actions that you took. But some of you literally were suspended from your regular job or your regular career or things that you did regularly. There is, temporary block in some cases. Some of you were blocked from something or prevention? Excuse me. Oh my God. I was shocked, but I also inhaled the wrong way. Some of you... okay. Like they're showing me like a separation and there's like a barrier here, but it's not like a wall and it's not like glass. It's like it moves, it's flexible, but there's still a barrier. It's almost like an invisible, like, what do you call those? Like a force field or something. And I see two people that want to be together, or this aspect, okay. In some of your cases, not all, this barrier, this blockage, this time apart from another person who might have something to do with the Four of Wands is temporary. Not in all cases, but some. But regardless of what we're talking about, what your specific issue is, I'm not sure. Regardless, though, Sag, you needed to see this differently, or someone here needed to see this differently. And the only way to be able, the only way to be able to see the situation differently was to create distance. Was to create a separation. Okay, there it is. That's a problem. Or not even that's a problem. That is difficult for someone here. And this is where the other energy is. Because I was like, it's mostly Sag, but there's a potential that someone else could be here. So either you or them, or the both of you, needed to be able to see the situation differently, and so separation had to happen, distance had to happen, some type of suspension had to happen. Could be in a family dynamic, in a roommate situation, a spousal relationship, whatever. One of you gets fired or laid off or is expended indefinitely or whatever it is from the job, and that brought in a new way to view the situation. How can we be partners building towards something together if you're suspended, or if you're not able to bring in money, or if you're not able to bring in something that supports the root, the foundation of the Four of Wands? So that causes problems in a marriage, that causes problems with roommates, that causes problems with business partners, whatever it is. I feel as though in this past situation where someone was caught up, hung up, someone may have been sent away in terms of prison time, jail time, well, more so jail time versus prison, because I feel it's temporary. I feel as though this was a temporary change in the dynamic that then ultimately will redefine the dynamic. There we go. Man, okay. Because Sag, again, I'm reminded of the melancholy feeling that you guys had last year, where things weren't the worst they've ever been, but they weren't the best. And you had to learn patience, like I was mentioning with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And so your hands essentially have been tied. or you've been tied up in a situation and you haven't been able to either run at it and fix it or run away from it and pursue something else. You have been, in a way, between those two major arcanas, forced to deal with something for an extended period of time that you either didn't want to deal with or you were tired of dealing with, but you had to keep stationary, I guess, or stay somewhat in the situation, but be incapable of doing anything. Like, yes, with thank you. The Hanged Man is about observation. I mean, what else is this guy gonna do when he's hung up by his ankle but look at the world around him? Is he gonna read a book? Is he gonna pay his taxes up there? Is he gonna, set up some Tinder dates while he's strung up there? No. He has to remain where he is. I'm not saying you are involved with, but I feel this tone is repeating, like I said earlier, with all the fire signs. I know Leo had something about being stationary, staying put. Aries may have also. So you all might be having that shared experience of, again, being told to stay where you are by the universe, God, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, right? And you are like, you're like an impetuous child. You're like a, not spoiled brat or anything, but when you tell a child no and they want something, they can cop an attitude, right? I feel not just you, Sag, all fire signs, I believe, I could be wrong because I did Aries like a while ago. Couple of days, well, more than a week ago, I don't know. I did Aries at the end of January, and I can't really remember exactly what I said to them. But I know Leo was like, "Stay where you are." So if you tell a kid, "Stay where you are, don't move," they don't like to hear that, and many will throw a fit. Your fit is different than Leo or Aries. You're probably a little more smart alecky about it, but then also like okay, here we go. Just to lighten it up a little bit, here's what I think would happen if you told all fire signs to stay put. Aries would like throw a tantrum, right? Knocking shit down, go stand in the corner. They won't go stand in the corner. They're gonna stand there and curse you out, like one of those bad little kids, right? Leo would do something similar. Less tantrum, like less about breaking things, because Leo's like, well, if I break it or if I mess it up, they're just going to tell me to clean it up, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to punish myself further. But Leo is going to sit there and be mopey or whiny about it, like questioning. Well, why? How come? Well, what if this happens? Like negotiating, like trying to bargain, like trying to find a way out of it, Sagittarius, a little bit similar to Leo and less similar to Aries. You're probably not going to throw a tantrum, but you are going to be like inquisitive and you're going to be like, well, how come? And this and that. But you're also kind of like sucking your teeth. You're like rolling your eyes. Like when you hear the explanation, you're kind of like, oh, geez, okay, fine. And Leo is like less like fine. Leo's more like, okay, I disagree. Like they're gritting their teeth. Like they're holding back their rage. Sagittarius, of the three fire signs, is the least rageful, and that's what this feels like. You've just kind of gone with the flow of it as much as you can, right? You've tried your damnedest not to fight it, even though there were times where you absolutely were trying to fight it. I think now, coming up into February, after months or years of dealing with this, you're kind of like, you know what? I got it. It's fine. And you finally give in to needing or being encouraged to see things from a different perspective. Now, in terms of going back to this idea of separation or this idea of things being suspended and things changing in ways that you don't want them to, because of the expansion element of the Wheel of Fortune, again, higher perspective. There's something about needing a higher perspective and you're getting it. But it's going to come through in different ways for all of you, right? You're not all going to see things from this new perspective and it be all Sagittarius share the same new perspective. No. And all of you have a higher understanding of it on the same level. No. But that's kind of what I'm feeling here. I'm feeling that like this could be about being open to different worldviews, understanding certain behaviors or lifestyles or choices of other people or choices that you're making, and how there are consequences to them sometimes. Or in the inverse, they're like in the inverse, they're also telling me, or seeing the benefit. Thank you. So again, some of you just had no idea that what you're seeking now in the present moment, Four of Wands, and a touch of the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, was ever a viable option for you, was ever anything to consider. The way you were before at your previous job, or how you were performing in your job previous to this moment, how you viewed your life with your family, is just different. Something has changed, and I don't know when and where or how in the details, but it has to do with being forced to stop, being forced to be patient, being forced into a state of suspension that gives you this clarity or gives you this insight that you did not have before, right? So now going forward into, and if you've been with me, guys, I don't normally tell things in chronological order. I don't normally do past, present, future. And as you can see, this was present, this is past, and this is future. It's not even in a linear way on the table. So I don't normally tell time or tell chronological stories, but they're letting me know that this is the future. So at some point, we're going to have some fucking victory, Sagittarius. Good for you. Good for you. Now, why do I say that? This is your return. Return to you. Return to yourself. In some cases, return home from jail. If you are watching me in jail, Sagittarius, congratulations. I feel that's probably a contraband. You probably shouldn't be doing that. That's very naughty. But if it was literally someone was sent away, and it doesn't have to be to jail. It could be someone went, on a retreat. It could be somebody went and had to do, a recovery program, physical therapy. Somebody had an extended stay in the hospital. For whatever reason, there's something about someone being away or separated, or just, something about, what is that? It's away, it's separation. What's the other word? Give it to me. What's the other word? Incubating? Interesting. That's not the word, but that's the concept that they're giving me. Incubation. So I'm not seeing anything here to deal with children per se, but maybe there's something here about incubation period involving a child or a newborn or something like that. But yeah, incubating, because what happens in an incubator, or what happens during the gestation period? Something grows, on a cellular level, embryos, just, they develop over time, and it takes time, right? In a human, what? It takes like 8 to 9, 10 months, something like that, whatever. I mean, obviously we say 9 months pregnant, but premature babies, overdue babies, not 8 to 9 months, right? Or 8 to 10 months, right? So that incubation period, that gestation period, is very important. After it happens, you come back with some semblance of some type of success, some type of acclaim. If not acclaim, maybe you have a return sense of pride or accomplishment and capability. Some of you are returning home to like parties and fanfare and like banners, strung across the living room, happy whatever, or good to see you, welcome home. Yeah, there it is. That's the phrase that we put up there, welcome home. And it's nice for you, Sagittarius, because regardless of how long or why you were over here in that Two of Pentacles and the Hangman shit, regardless of how or why, when you come back here, this is also like signaling in the future. Yeah. Signaling in the era or the phase of your life that's up next. Now, I'm not saying that the streets are paved with gold and that everything you touch is going to turn to gold, or that everything you ever do is going to be the most successful, this, that, or the other. No. What it is a change in your mindset, a change in your outlook, a change in your behavior, and what you're able to create for yourself, or whatever you're able to sustain for yourself. Remember everything that we talked about in your starting position. You want to work alongside a particular someone, or just people in general that want to build strong foundations, whether that be in your home life, career life, it doesn't matter, whether that be whatever it is. You are determined, as a Sagittarius tends to be, to have more, to have something strong, to have something solid and secure, and it is abundant. Yes, this and this for, yes! This and this are about abundance. Yes. Strong foundation, success. Reliable structure that we all chip in towards leads to bountiful success. Yeah? Damn the focus. Anyway. So, Sag, Six of Wands. Welcome home, Sag. It's been a while. You know, whatever it is, I feel either this, it could go both ways. I'm feeling that internally and or externally, you're feeling prideful. You're feeling celebrated. And it's really coming from a place, more so it's like radiating from, it's radiating from the inside out. From the inside out, this feels like. It's very nice. And the other part about the Six of Wands is traditionally, you know, this will show like a knight. Oh my God, with the damn focus. This will show a knight who is returning from battle. So there's something like that. Like, you and other people know what you've been through. You and other people know the ways in which you have suffered, or the things that you've gone through to get to this point. And that's worthy of the praise. That is worthy of the acclaim, right? Whether anyone else acknowledges it or not, there is this sense of within yourself, you're going to feel that pride. You're going to feel that accomplishment, and you deserve it. I don't know the specifics because they're not really giving me too many solid ideas or scenarios rather that I could, you know, translate for you. But what it feels like is I've paid my dues, right? I've done my time if this is about someone being sent away to jail, right? I've done my time in terms of like separated or being laid off, right? Something like that. And in that time, I had to reflect, and I suffered, and I lost some things, and I was realizing some things about myself or the situation at hand. And as you transition back into quote unquote the living world, the working world, the you know, society at large, whatever it is, as you are reintroduced into that world, there's a swelling sense of, I'm going to do right this time, or this is going to work out for me. Again, optimistic Sagittarius of the three, probably, well, sometimes, I'm going to say probably, sometimes you're the most optimistic. Leo can be very optimistic. Aries is less so. Aries is more of a realist. But anyway, there's this idea of being definitely optimistic, definitely looking out into the future and reveling at and being excited by, or being very turned on by the possibilities of the future. Okay. Now, above that, kind of, sort of, kind of auspicious, you got the Nine of Cups. This energy actually has come up a few times for February, but not without cost, not without, you know, some suffering or some challenges beforehand in many cases. But for you, Sag, I mean, that kind of fits, right? The challenges and the suffering or the losses or the setbacks have all happened. And now it's time to turn a corner. Now it's time to, you know, get this thing started or get this thing back on track. Or for the first time, get something. You know, in some of your cases, you haven't had this ever in your life, or you haven't had much to hope for, much to dream about, much to feel, you know, inspired by, or even fulfilled by. I feel as though in some of your cases, you've had a very rough life, or you've been surrounded by or involved in very rough, trying, and detrimental circumstances of all kinds. You know, it could be, you know, lifestyle choices or things that you've chosen to do on your own accord, or the choices other people around you have made and you have then suffered their consequences or by proxy been associated with them. So that can run an entire gamut with all kinds of detail. I'm going to skip it for now, but I feel that there is a good population of Sagittariuses who essentially have not been very lucky. And I feel as though, again, that is that long descent on the Wheel of Fortune, where maybe the moment, this is possible in some cases, okay? If you think about it from a cosmic standpoint, and if you really take a macro look at what life is, it's nothing but a cycle, right? Nothing but a cycle. One life is nothing but a cycle, right? If you think about it in some ways. So some of you, again, not to excuse it and not to make it seem as though, you know, you should have just like known this from childhood, but some of you were really born into a descent, a path in life that would see you go down towards the valley before you started to rise and head towards the peak, right? So your childhood, the choices your parents made, the circumstances and the environment in which you were raised, that was all the slow descent towards the valley. Now, throughout your young adult life, maybe you've lived and survived the valley. And as an adult living on your own, beginning to make your own choices, or getting yourself involved in different circumstances, surrounded by new people who share your goals and your insight and your visions for the future, you begin to head on the ascent towards the peak, right? That is crazy that some of you maybe have spent, like I said before, years in the descent, years on the downturn of the Wheel of Fortune. And you know, to say, well, it's a matter of patience is kind of, it's kind of short-sighted of whatever I can offer you in terms of what I'm translating, but that's what this feels like. It feels like some of your greatest lessons for this particular group of Sagittariuses, your greatest lesson is your own childhood. You know what I mean? And all the things that you had to deal with and overcome and survive and sacrifice and do whatever you had to do. And now that you're of age, or you're more capable, or now that you've had enough time being told by the universe to be patient, I feel as though in general Sagittarius is again turning a corner, or coming up on the ascent of the Wheel of Fortune, right? So with the Nine of Cups, some of you have wished for years for better circumstances, a better life, better opportunities, better people, better outlook for yourself, better ways of coping. Some of you, this is a self-development path that you're on, or a self-development trajectory, right? And you want more for yourself, and you will get it. This Nine of Cups is the first signal. Oh, very interesting. I mean, I've mentioned it a few times since she's been out here for February, but it's Nine of Cups, you know, looking like a barmaid, looking like, you know, someone who's proud, like she's like at the helm of like a grand opening, going back to that thing that I said where someone was like planning an event and you need like a wood carver or something, like you don't know that you need it, but that's what you're going to get, and whatever. There's this idea of ownership, or this idea of presentation. Thank you. Ownership and presentation. Some of you for the first time have something in your life that belongs to you, a house, a home, a business, whatever it is, and you want to present it and display it to the world because you've wanted it your whole life. People around you discouraged you, the situation or the hand you were dealt in life felt quite incompatible with that dream, but the dream is coming to you. It's finally taking shape. Congratulations, friend. I'm very happy for you. Very happy. Now, your outcome kind of underpins everything that I just said. You have the Sun, and I've talked them up a little bit, but here goes the secondary major arcana for Leo. Some of you could be dealing with a Leo or not. It doesn't really matter. But the Sun, arguably the most positive card in tarot, even when it's in the reverse, even when the depiction isn't necessarily the most. I mean, this is fine. They're like dancing in the backyard with like some sunflowers or whatever. But in tandem with everything that we've been talking about today, Sagittarius, there's a glow up happening. There's a revival of something, or just finally, I feel as though you're allowed to pass. Thank you. There's There's now like an open doorway for you, an open pathway to you that wasn't open before. Again, on a delay, with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, on a delay. And you may have had hints of it over the years, over the past few months, that something was turning in your favor, that you were going to finally be able to break ground or break out in a certain way and move in the ways that you want. But the universe had a plan, or had some, it could be karma. I don't talk about it much, and I'm not really seeing cards particularly related to karma, but in some of your cases, if you have that understanding and if you've been thinking or exploring that idea, it could be that. It could be something to do with karma, needing to be repaid, needing to be balanced, whatever it is. I don't know. But with the Sun as your outcome, friends, you're good. You're good. You're so good. You're going to get whatever you want. And I'm not going to say whatever you want. It's not like you can, you can just manifest things like you're Dr. Manhattan. I can have this, or I can have that, and I can make this happen. No, it's more of like I don't think whatever you've been suffering through, whatever you've had to deal with that hasn't been the most positive experience, the most pleasant experience to deal with, I think is finally going to turn in your favor. I think it's finally going to show, or you will finally be shown the brighter side of life, essentially, with that sun. I'm looking down at it, and it's just like in my face. You're finally going to be able to see the brighter side of life, where maybe you have never seen it before, or you haven't seen it in a long time. Again, I'm going back to this idea of somebody's coming out of jail. You haven't been able to see the sun, feel the sun on your skin, on your face for a long time. You or someone, again, if a Sagittarius is watching me in prison, without, giving yourself up and breaking, a rule, I feel as though that's what's going on here. Somebody was away for a long time, and now they come back, and the whole game is switched. The whole thing is flipped. That's very interesting. We're not done. I'm just using this to pick this up. Ten of Cups is your overall energy. So, overall, Sag, in many of your cases, we are talking about, a happily ever after. You see these two lovers sitting on a bench. So, I'm not saying that you are necessarily returning to a past lover. In some of your cases, maybe you are. Whether or not, it would feel correct, but you've been through the ringer with that person, let me tell you. But if it's not about going back to someone that you knew from your past, it is sort of going back to this idea of happily ever after, or this ideal of happily ever after. What does that mean to you, Sagittarius? Some of you that means, a particular romantic relationship. Some of you that means a particular familial relationship, like you get reconnected with your long lost father or mother or brother or sister or whatever it is. And for some of you, I am getting this return to either a specific person from your past, or just the sense of this happily ever after feeling, this feeling of long-term commitment or long-term contentment. Yeah. Again, romantic or not, with a specific person or not. Ten of Cups is sort of, it's bliss. It's like so beautiful you could cry, it's like that type of energy. It's such a peaceful, connected energy that you can feel in yourself. It's so beautiful, and you're so happy there you go. Oh, that's nice. And I say it's nice because I'm able to do it, but I'm gonna legit talk to somebody who has never in their life cried tears of happiness. You're going to. You've never had a reason to cry because of happiness, and that concept to you has always seemed so foreign, has always seemed so out of touch with you. You didn't understand it. You see it in TV shows or movies. Other people around you can have had this experience. Your life and everything you've been involved in has been so rotten and so foul and just so that you have never cried due to happiness. You have only cried tears of pain or sorrow or sadness or hate or frustration and anger. Someone here, for the first time in their life, Whether you're 21 years old, whether you're 58 years old, or you're 87 years old, I don't care. This is going to be the first time you have ever cried because of happiness. It's coming. If it hasn't happened already, that's going to happen. That's what this 10 of Cups is. And that might sound really weird to some people, but it's a great experience. I can't describe it, or I don't think I should, because I'm not supposed to be a part of your reading. But as a person who has cried because of happiness, because of joy, because of just like overwhelming positive, like, oh my God, I can't take it. It's so weird. It's like you're crying and many people, you know, associate crying with sadness. But I'm telling you, when you cry from happiness, it's like a euphoric experience almost in some ways, or at least it is for me, you know? And so if that's coming to you and you've never experienced that, I hope it is a euphoric experience. I hope you can feel, I don't know, wow. Sagittarius, that is your reading for February 2020. I hope that you liked it. If you did, the like button is down below. Go ahead and hit that for me. If you want to leave a comment, let me know what has resonated here for you. When and where you have cried your tears of joy, go ahead and leave that in the comments for me. I would love to read that. You can, of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, guys. That would be amazing. And sharing the video also would be amazing if you choose. Any and all of those things help support the channel in place of actually ordering a personal with me or doing a donation through the PayPal link below. Sag, I will be back soon doing the mid-February. So I'm also going to do, the no communication readings in February as well. So you have all that stuff to look forward to within the month. And I hope to see you there. And I hope to see you guys and your viewership go up, 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 up. But anyway, guys, I thank you so much for watching the video. Take care. Bye.